guys, Harry here from the Art Gear Guide. Thanks very much for joining me today. First of all, let me apologize for the audio on this review. Ordinarily, for the last year and a month, uh, the audio on my videos has been through one of the Blue Yeti professional microphones. Right at the very beginning, my reviews were uh, terrible in terms of quality and sound quality, that type of thing. And over time, obviously, I've been able to enhance the quality. More recently, with the lighting and the camera quality, thanks to a subscriber, a regular viewer of the channel, who was more than generous enough to provide that stuff for me. It was unbelievable. But I already had this excellent microphone, and so everything was complete. And for some reason, on Saturday, I believe it was, it just stopped working. It's never been dropped, nothing like that. It's just stopped working out of the blue. And somebody gave me an idea on Facebook about the USB port, but I've tried that, it hasn't worked. So I've got no idea. So at the minute, unfortunately, I'm using my Apple headphones so that I can talk into the microphone there. Hopefully, I will do my best once I put it into Final Cut and try to enhance the audio a little bit. But unfortunately, it is what it is until I can afford to get a new microphone or at least talk to Blue Microphones about it. Because, like I say, I've only had it a year and it's just died. Um, and after spending £200 on a microphone, I think it should last longer than a year. Anyway, this is a review of the Arteza Woodless Watercolor pencils. Now, I've done reviews of woodless pencils in the past, stuff like that. And as much as I love using them, I'm not too sure where they kind of fit in the grand scheme of things. The kind of like the reason behind them, the reason why they're woodless. Ordinarily, you would think that because they're woodless, you could use the side of them like you can do like a cylindrical pastel block. You can, or like a pastel cylinder or a pastel block. You can use the side of it and cover a large area. Well, with woodless pencils, whether they're water soluble or not, you can't really do that because they're coated in like a thin film so that you're not going to get wax or whatever it's made of all over your hands. And it is very thin, but it's a protective layer nonetheless. Um, so I've had these for I think over a year now. Arteza sent them to me in a big bundle of different things, so I've got round to finally reviewing them. Unfortunately, because there's only 24 colors, I was a little bit limited to what I could do with them. But I think actually the artwork that I've done has come out pretty well. Uh, I'll show you an image of it here on screen, but I also have a speed painting of it, so you can go across and look at the speed painting. But this is an image of, I'm not too sure if any of you can remember one of the first iPhones that came out. I think it might have been the second iPhone when wallpapers were allowed to be put on the screen. This was one of the kind of like iconic images. So I found it and I thought I'll try that, and I think it's come out okay. Um, I'm pleased with it, but that's what the Arteza Woodless watercolor pencil's done. So it just gives you an idea, an indication of the type of things that you're able to do with them and their vibrancy. So the first thing is this the packaging that they come in. Now Arteza have, for the most part, they've gone over a lot of their packaging, done like different things, enhanced it and stuff like that. Like for the markers, for instance, they come in these really lovely bags and stuff like that. So I don't know if they've got any plans to repackage this, but I personally don't like this type of packaging where you've got to cut it. It's kind of like a nightmare to get into. Um, if you look here, so I've had to cut it along here, which is, it's no big shakes really, but I'm just highlighting it. So take that off. So when you get into the packaging, you've got your pencils. Obviously, you can see here I've used them, but I've got images coming up on the screen with them without them being used. Like I say, there's 24 colors in the range. And if we take a look at the actual pencils, okay, so if you look at obviously each pencil is colored. It's hard to talk about these because there is no core. The whole pencil essentially is a core. So you get a lot of pigment for your money. They sharpen incredibly well, incredibly well. Along the barrel, we have the company's name, which is Arteza. Then after that, it just says Woodless, followed by a forward slash and then watercolor, just to let you know that you're using woodless water soluble pencils. After that, then it has the pigment name, and then after that, there's a number here which corresponds to the individual pencil, and that's it. There's nothing else on here. In terms of light fast information, I haven't been able to find anything light fast, but essentially, I don't really think that the light fast issues need to be talked about in this. I don't think this is like a fine art product. I don't think Arteza have meant that to be aimed at that particular artist. So we'll get into doing a little bit of a demonstration here, showing you how bright and vibrant that the pigment is when it's obviously activated. One of the things about water soluble pencils is, and a lot of people don't know this, when you're using them, they can come across as quite bland or um, very very washed out. But then as soon as you add water to it, it's an entirely different situation altogether. So when I was playing about with them, I'd done loads of different testing. So what I'm going to do here, sorry, it's going in and out of focus here. So I'm going to wet this is Arteza's own watercolor pad. They're expert. It's £140. So I've wet that paper. Just rub it in a little bit. And let me zoom in here for you. So you can see there when as soon as I'm just literally just touching this, but you can see there the pigment just bounces off the pencil onto the paper. And this is a really fun technique to try for all sorts of things. Like if you're doing botanical art, that type of thing, when you wet the paper and you use these pencils, you're going to get really, really nice effects, really natural effects. But you can see there that the pigments are just so strong. And when you look at things like this, I think a lot of people kind of are a little bit snobby towards woodless products like these woodless watercolor pencils. Uh, and I include myself in that. I think ordinarily that's how I would have looked at them. But obviously, you're not going to be able to do work where you can sell it or anything like that because of light fastness. But nevertheless, there's so many different things that you're going to be able to do with these. But most importantly, you're going to be able to have a lot of fun with them, creating all sorts of different bits of art. So there's that. And then what I'm going to do is I'll find a dry piece here, and we will put down some color, and then just activate it with water. So I'll get a few colors here. I do have a color chart over on the Art Gear Guide, so you can go across and see the color chart. So I'm putting down a heavy application, and that's another thing about these pencils. They tend to be a little bit brittle. So when you get a really nice point on them, it does break. You can see little flecks come off there, but those little flecks, obviously, once they're activated, they just dissolve. Like I said earlier on, there is a thin film. I'm not too sure if you can see that. Um, you can see there where that little white line. There's a thin film that covers the pencil, and that's just obviously to protect you from getting your hands messy, or the pencils melting in your hand or whatever. Um, okay, so that's a couple of colors there that I've laid down. I've got some of the Arteza water brushes. Incidentally, when I was doing the clownfish drawing, I used at the beginning of the drawing some Arteza water brush pencils. Uh, for me personally, I find all water brush pens um, a little bit difficult to not difficult to control, but I just find using water and a brush a little bit easier to control the flow of water. With these, I haven't quite mastered them yet. Um, but you can see here with the pigment dry on the paper and then you activate it, it's just gorgeous. It is so bright and vibrant. Um, so another way of using any water soluble pencil is by using this little. I've shown you this before. It's a palette and it's specifically for water soluble pencils. So you scratch on there your color that you're going to use. This is like if you're wanting to blend. So if you're wanting to make um, I don't know, a dark green or something, you add your two colors on, and then you just mix it up on the palette. And the good thing about this is, obviously, you can mix up water soluble pencils on the paper, but when it's on the paper, you've got time's against you because obviously it's going to seep in. But here, you can create this color. It's just going to sit there, and even if it dries, once you activate it with water again, it's back up and running. But so you can work like that. So these 24 colors that are in this set all of a sudden become 60 or 100 different colors because of the, if you know your color theory and you know how your blending works and stuff like that, then you're going to be able to create all manner of tones and things. So you can see there, I don't have this green in the set, but by mixing that light green and that dark blue, I was able to create a different green. Let me just zoom in and show you there a little bit. Okay, so there you can see all the options that you have available. I know this palette isn't necessarily an Arteza product, but I just think it's such an important product and it brings to life, what any water soluble. I used this when I was doing the Arteza watercolor pencils, uh, but these woodless pencils as well, it works great for. And then you can do a little bit of wet on wet there. But essentially, what I'm showing you here is the strength of the pigments um, for such a cheap product. Uh, As with all Arteza products, you are getting excellent quality. I mean, like I personally don't know how to do it, but I'm not complaining because they're creating um, huge amounts of art products at affordable prices, and all of a sudden now, because of companies like Arteza, So many different art products that are in good quality are now available to so many different artists. So I think Arteza can have to be applauded for that. So the only issue that I would have with the this particular set, and I'm thinking that this is perhaps a mistake, just like a manufacturer mistake. There's two colors here, and I think they're labeled wrong. This one here is vermilion, and this one here is magenta. Now, I was always under the impression vermilion was kind of like an orange red, and magenta was more like a purple. Basically, the colors that these are. So if you look here, this is the magenta. Oh, sorry. So that's the magenta, and this is the vermilion. And obviously you can see there that this is more vermilion and this is more magenta. So like I say, I think that's just a unless any of you guys that have got these pencils have the same issue, then obviously maybe that's just something Arteza need to take a little look at and rectify, because it is obviously wrong. Anyway, guys, that's my review of the Arteza Woodless Watercolor pencils. Now, don't forget, go across to the written review. I'll have prices over there, as well as a color swatch, so you can see all the full range of 24 colors. So I know I showed you an image of it here on the screen, but you can see it over there as well. Click on the image and enlarge it, or do whatever you want with it. Also, the speed drawing as well, I'll have links down below. You can go across and see the speed drawing of the clownfish that I've done. Sometimes these speed drawings just give you a good demonstration of what the product is capable of doing. I really enjoyed using these. I would have liked to have had a slightly bigger set, but like I said, with the palette, these 24 colors start turning into many different colors and hues. And if you really know your color theory properly, then you're going to have a much easier time. Unfortunately, I'm not 100%. I still got a lot to learn when it comes to color theory, but it is what it is. So thank you so much, and thank you for putting up with the audio on this video. Hopefully, as soon as I can afford to get a new microphone, it will, or Blue replace this one. Whatever happens first. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to use this audio, so I will do what I can with it, and I apologize in advance for future videos that might have this audio as well. Okay, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye.